So, fellow seeker, next let's talk about another one of the 7 things every coach needs to know. And this subject is paradoxical. It is the subject of burnout. Burnout can be caused by too much commitment or commitment to the wrong things. Just as we can find ourselves in a bad faith situation chasing our tails because of information overwhelm, or we can find ourselves afraid to sell because we don't believe in our product. We can invest a lot of time, effort, and energy into going down wormholes and getting heavily involved in situations which are ultimately not going to yield any positive results. And if we do that, that can result in burnout. Burnout can be the result of believing that you can work your way through every situation. We're all brought up to believe that hard work is one of the major virtues of life, or many of us are. Unfortunately, there's a certain amount of mythology surrounding the notion that hard work prevails over all other things. And there are people online who will promote the notion that hard work alone is the silver bullet, is the magic solution to every ill. And that if you work hard enough, you're going to prevail. I would suggest that if you work hard, you will burn out because it can become habit forming and it can become addictive. I would suggest that it's better to work smart, not hard. So, what is burnout? Burnout is that feeling of lassitude. It's a feeling of not having anything left in the bank. It's a feeling of having no energy left. You feel drained and you feel totally debilitated and you feel like you have nothing left to offer. Now, true burnout can result in anxiety attacks. It can result in debilitation, taken to your bed almost. What I'd like to suggest is that you can recognize the symptoms of burnout and you can accommodate the symptoms of burnout if you recognize what they look like. Burnout can come, Burnout can come in phases and there will be warning signs. And if you have a warning sign of burnout, i.e., you feel overwhelmed, or you cannot get things done, or you cannot justify why you're continuing down this road, or you're looking for reasons, and you're just totally all done in because no matter how hard you try, nothing seems to succeed. I'm here to tell you, yes, you can work through those things, but I'm also here to tell you that when you feel burned out, take a break. Look at it logically. If I post on YouTube and I check the views that I get every day, and the views that I get every day on YouTube are minimal, minor, inconsequential, I can do one of two things really. I can give myself a hard time for that, or I can work smarter and develop the skills needed to try to up the engagement. However, if I am yielding very low results on YouTube and I decide to stop for a week, guess what? The world is not going to end. I do not have to sit on a stationary cycle, pedaling like fury to get zero results in order to prove to myself that I'm getting somewhere. Isn't it better if I go back, regroup, and redevelop my strategies so that I can do better the next time. I can take that so-called failure and I can learn from it. What I'm saying here is that one of the symptoms of burnout is that delusion that you have to be stuck on a hamster wheel, running like crazy in order to get a result that isn't going to happen for you. And I would go so far as to say that people who tell you the only way to do better is to work harder are in fact selling you lemons. Once again, we get back to the basics. Organize your life, work smarter, not harder. Recognize when burnout might be happening. Recognize when you feel like your batteries are drained, and recognize when you feel like you don't understand why you're doing this anymore. Take time out. The world is not going to end. Nobody is going to notice. Stop employing this ego metric or a vanity metric, believing that if you stop working as hard as you do, suddenly everything's going to collapse. Because if you're working really, really hard and you're not getting results, all you're doing is burying yourself. There's no need for it. So recognize burnout, because otherwise, burnout, as the name suggests, will burn you. I hope this is useful. If you want to access the 7 things that every coach needs to know, feel free to click on the link. What are the positives about knowing about burnout? Well, the positives are that you can stop giving yourself a hard time. You can stop being that hamster on a wheel. You can also apply this knowledge to people that you work with. You can recognize when somebody is going down a wormhole and they're screwing themselves into the ground, trying to overpower limitations through the sheer dint of hard work. Snap out of the myth that hard work alone is going to get you results, because it's a bit of a delusional idea. And it's often sold to us by people who've got everything to gain by watching you screw yourself into the ground. I'm not saying that they're doing it deliberately, or maybe I am. But the point is, working too hard at things that don't provide you the proper results you require is not the way forward. Working smarter at those things is. My personal experiences with burnout caused me to realize that, yes, there is some virtue in work and application, but there is little virtue in destroying yourself, pursuing things which cannot be realized. What I learned was that in order to overcome burnout, I had to head it off at the pass. And the best way to overcome burnout and head it off at the pass is to organize oneself better. Once again, we're back to this idea of setting up systems that you can work to. Set up systems and organizational strategies which are going to tell you what to do each day. Imagine if you could surrender yourself to a boss who knows exactly what needs to be done at every given time of every given day. And that boss can tell you what to do, and you simply do that task. Well, that's you. You are that boss. All you need to do is to set yourself up, calendarize and organize yourself so that instead of trying to chase 10 things at any given moment, you focus on one. And once you learn how to focus on that one specific thing that you need to get done, to the exclusion of all the other things that you can't possibly get done, then you can start to negotiate your way through burnout. A contrary argument is, of course, that you could just end up spending longer. You could dedicate more time to burning out if you employ the wrong systems. So I'm not saying just choose any system willy-nilly. Use a little bit of discrimination here. Bottom line is, if you want to overcome burnout, A, recognize what it looks like when you experience it, and be prepared to take time out. And B, prepare systems and timing and calendarizing that is going to help you to get things done in a structured and disciplined manner. Now, isn't it interesting that you can come to a presentation to find out how to become a coach? And here I am coaching you. What can we learn from that? Well, simply put, what we can learn from that is that the work of a coach begins with the work on the coach themselves. And so if you can recognize burnout in yourself and you can develop strategies for yourself to deal with it, you can then become a better coach for other people when you detect it in them. I hope this makes sense to you. Feel free to click on the link below and check out the 7 things every coach must know. And if you're an aspiring coach, I can put you in touch with modules which can help you to be set up within 7 days instead of 7 months or 7 years. Catch you next time. I'll be back with some more information about what every coach needs to know very soon.